I wouldn't change.
You wanna change?
Out of all the fine arts in the world, music is first.
Music is first.
The only one that educates you spiritually, physically, and mentally.
You probably know Eric Donaldson as the reggae legend behind hits like Cherry Oh Baby. But have you wondered what really happened to him? Today we're breaking down his life, career highs and lows, and what he's been up to lately. Stick around, because some of it might surprise you. His beginnings. Eric Donaldson was born on June 11, 1947, in Kent Village, a quiet rural area near Bog Walk in St. Catherine, Jamaica. Growing up surrounded by the lush hills and small communities of St. Catherine, Eric was immersed in the natural rhythms of life from an early age. Music was everywhere. From church hymns to local festivals, the sounds of Jamaica seeped into his bones, even if he didn't realize it yet. You could say Eric had music in his DNA long before he ever picked up a microphone. His family played a big role in shaping who he would become. Stories from his childhood paint a picture of a boy drawn to melodies and rhythms. Like many Jamaican kids at the time, Eric was exposed to the sounds of calypso, ska, and early reggae at local dances, neighborhood parties, and even on the radio if they could catch a signal. While other kids were playing games in the fields, Eric was humming tunes, tapping out beats, and experimenting with his voice. You might even say his first audience was the chickens in the yard, but at least they were honest critics. In 1964, Eric began his formal journey into music by recording a few tracks for the legendary Studio One label, a place that would later become famous as a launching pad for artists like Bob Marley and the Wailers. Unfortunately, those early recordings never saw the light of day. While some might have thrown in the towel, Eric didn't. He used the experience as motivation to keep refining his sound. Those early failures became lessons that fueled his persistence. Around this time, Eric formed a vocal group called the West Indians, which included Leslie Burke and Hector Brooks. Teaming up was a smart move. Back then, vocal groups were the heart of the Jamaican music scene, and harmonies could make or break your reputation. In 1968, the West Indians scored their first notable success with Right on Time, a song produced by J.J. Johnson. The track received attention, but success in the music business is never guaranteed, and the group faced its share of obstacles. They later collaborated with the iconic Lee Scratch Perry, a legendary producer known for his innovative approach to reggae and dub. During this period, the group also changed their name to the Kilowatts. Despite their efforts, commercial success continued to be elusive. But Eric's dedication never wavered. Each performance, each recording session was a step forward. He was learning, growing, and quietly preparing for the breakthrough that would come later. Even in these early years, you could see the traits that would define Eric Donaldson's career: resilience, creativity, and a deep love for music. He wasn't chasing fame for the sake of it. He was chasing the joy of creating music that resonated with people. That passion and commitment would carry him through the ups and downs of a challenging music industry. Looking back now, you can see that those humble beginnings in Kent Village laid the foundation for a legendary career that would inspire countless reggae artists to follow. By the end of the 1960s, Eric had built a reputation as a talented and dedicated artist, laying the groundwork for the hits that would eventually make him a household name. The boy who hummed to the chickens in his yard had started to find his voice, and the world would soon be ready to listen. Rise to fame. By the early 1970s, Eric Donaldson's talent was undeniable. All those years of performing in local venues, singing with groups like the West Indians, and recording tracks that never saw the light of day were paying off. Eric had developed a voice that was distinct, smooth, and capable of carrying both the joy and the soul of reggae. But in the music industry, talent alone doesn't guarantee fame. It takes timing, opportunity, and sometimes a little bit of luck. Eric was about to get all three. One of the turning points in his career came when he entered the prestigious Jamaica Festival Song Competition. This annual contest was known for highlighting some of the best local talent and could make a singer's career overnight. Eric entered with his song, Cherry Oh Baby, a track that would become one of the most recognized reggae songs of all time. The melody was catchy, the lyrics resonated with everyday life, and Eric's performance had a warmth that could make anyone smile. The judges took notice, and Eric won the competition in 1971. Winning the Jamaica Festival Song Competition was more than just a trophy on a shelf. It was a launching pad. Suddenly, Eric Donaldson's name was being mentioned alongside other reggae greats. Radio stations began playing his music regularly, and live shows saw increased audiences eager to see the man behind the hit. Cherry O Baby wasn't just a local sensation, it started gaining attention internationally, particularly among reggae enthusiasts in the UK and beyond. Eric's rise wasn't explosive overnight, but it was steady, rooted in his talent, persistence, and authenticity. Around this time, Eric began collaborating with producers who could bring out the best in his music. These partnerships allowed him to experiment with different sounds while staying true to his reggae roots. He wasn't trying to imitate anyone. Eric had his own style that combined smooth vocals with rhythms that made people move. Whether performing in small community halls or larger stages, Eric's energy and charisma made him memorable. Audiences didn't just hear him sing, they felt the music. The 1970s also brought Eric the chance to tour and perform internationally. Traveling outside Jamaica exposed him to new audiences and broadened his musical influences. He could see firsthand how reggae was impacting listeners far from the streets of Kingston. Fans connected with the stories in his songs, from love and heartbreak to cultural pride. Even as Eric gained recognition, he stayed grounded, never losing sight of where he came from or why he started singing in the first place. Despite the growing fame, Eric remained approachable and genuine, traits that earned him loyal fans. He wasn't just a performer on stage, he was a storyteller who could make people laugh, reflect, or dance with a single song. His rise to fame wasn't flashy or scandalous. It was built on hard work, authenticity, and undeniable talent. By the mid-1970s, Eric Donaldson was no longer just a promising artist from Kent Village. He had become a respected name in reggae music, known for both his voice and his ability to write songs that touched hearts. Cherry O Baby would later be covered by other artists, solidifying his place in reggae history. The boy who hummed to chickens in his yard had not only found his voice, but shared it with the world, and the world was listening. The reggae scene. To fully understand Eric Donaldson's rise, you have to step back and look at the reggae scene in the 1970s. This was a period when Jamaican music was exploding, both locally and internationally, and artists were finding their unique voices in a sea of talent. Reggae was more than a genre. It was a cultural movement, a soundtrack to the lives of ordinary people, and a statement of pride and resilience. For Eric, navigating this scene meant not just standing out musically, but also finding a way to be heard among legends. At the time, the reggae landscape was crowded with iconic names. Bob Marley and the Wailers were establishing themselves as global ambassadors of the genre. Jimmy Cliff had already made waves with his soulful, cinematic approach, and Toots Hibbert was commanding attention with his energetic, gospel-infused sound. These artists weren't just making music, they were shaping the very identity of reggae. In this environment, Eric had to carve out his own space, a task he accomplished with a mix of talent, persistence, and a unique charm that couldn't be copied. Eric's songs reflected a balance between storytelling and rhythm. While some artists leaned heavily into political themes or spiritual messages, Eric often focused on universal experiences, love, heartbreak, joy, and everyday life in Jamaica. Songs like Cherry O Baby were relatable, catchy, and memorable. They weren't just heard, they were sung along to in kitchens, at dances, and on street corners. In a way, Eric became a voice for the people, channeling emotions everyone could connect with, without overcomplicating the music or lyrics. The reggae scene also demanded collaboration. Studio sessions often involved multiple artists, producers, and musicians, each contributing to a collective sound. Eric worked with some of the top producers of the day, experimenting with arrangements, harmonies, and rhythms. This was a time when creativity was high, and the industry was hungry for hits that could travel beyond Jamaica's shores. Eric adapted to these demands with ease, staying true to his musical roots while embracing the opportunities to expand his sound. Competition was fierce. Many talented singers were vying for the same spotlight, and only a few could rise above the rest. For Eric, this meant constantly improving, writing new songs, and performing with energy and authenticity. Fans quickly recognized that he had something different, an approachable, warm voice that felt personal, as if he were singing directly to you. That quality, combined with his professional discipline, allowed him to gain respect in an era full of musical heavyweights. The 1970s also marked the period when reggae began reaching international audiences. Jamaican artists were touring Europe, the United States, and other regions where reggae fans were hungry for authentic sounds. Eric's music, though sometimes overshadowed by bigger names, still found its way into playlists and radio rotations abroad. His relatable lyrics and smooth delivery gave listeners a taste of genuine Jamaican life and culture. In short, Eric Donaldson didn't just exist in the reggae scene, he thrived within it. He learned from the legends around him, competed with them, and ultimately carved his own niche. While some artists chased controversy or flashy gimmicks, Eric stayed grounded, letting his music speak for itself. By the end of this era, he wasn't just another voice in the crowd. He was a respected, emerging force in reggae, ready to leave a lasting mark on the genre. Career highlight. Eric Donaldson's career is a masterclass in steady, authentic success. Unlike some artists whose fame explodes overnight and then fizzles, Eric built his reputation brick by brick, song by song. While Cherry O Baby was arguably his most famous track, his career is packed with highlights that go beyond a single hit. After winning the Jamaica Festival Song Competition in 1971 with Cherry O Baby, Eric didn't just rest on his laurels. He kept writing and recording, focusing on songs that could connect with listeners on a personal level. His next festival entry, Land of My Birth, won the competition in 1974, solidifying Eric's status as a mainstay of the annual contest. These festival wins weren't just trophies, they were public recognition of his songwriting skill and his ability to capture Jamaican pride in musical form. Eric's albums during this period showcased his versatility. He wasn't pigeonholed into one type of reggae. Instead, he explored themes ranging from romance to social commentary, always keeping a light, approachable touch. Songs like Sweet Jamaica and Queen Majesty displayed his ability to combine melodic hooks with lyrical substance. Each release added layers to his career, demonstrating that he could balance commercial appeal with musical integrity. Live performances became another hallmark of Eric's career. On stage, he had a way of drawing audiences in that was equal parts charisma and technical skill. Whether performing at a local dance hall or a larger festival, Eric commanded attention with his smooth vocals and authentic delivery. Fans didn't just enjoy the music, they felt it. Eric had a knack for making even the simplest songs feel personal, like he was singing directly to each listener. One interesting part of Eric's career is how his songs have lived on through covers and reinterpretations by other artists. Cherry O Baby, for instance, was famously covered by bands like UB40, bringing Eric's music to audiences far beyond Jamaica. It's a testament to his songwriting that decades later, new generations continue to connect with his work. Not every artist can claim that their music has that kind of longevity. Eric also gained recognition internationally. Tours and performances abroad introduced his music to fans in Europe, North America, and the Caribbean. While reggae legends like Bob Marley often overshadowed him on the global stage, Eric carved out a respected niche. His consistent output and distinctive voice allowed him to maintain relevance and admiration from both fans and fellow musicians. Collaborations played a role as well. Throughout his career, Eric worked with talented producers, session musicians, and other artists, bringing new dimensions to his sound. These collaborations allowed him to experiment without straying too far from his roots, ensuring that his music stayed authentic while also evolving with the times. Beyond awards and hits, Eric's career highlights also include the respect and loyalty he earned from his fans. He wasn't just a performer on the radio or stage, he became a cultural touchstone, someone people could turn to for music that was both enjoyable and meaningful. His career demonstrates that success doesn't have to be flashy or sensationalized to be impactful. Steady talent, authenticity, and connection with your audience can create a legacy that lasts decades. In short, Eric Donaldson's career highlights are more than a list of songs and awards. They are a testament to his ability to create music that resonates across time and geography, blending personal storytelling with universal appeal. Every hit, every festival win, and every performance contributed to a career built on talent, persistence, and the kind of charm that makes listeners feel like they've known Eric personally for years. Personal life and offstage stories. While Eric Donaldson is celebrated for his music, there's a rich story behind the man himself that goes beyond the stage and the studio. Fans often wonder what life is like for someone whose songs have become so iconic. Eric's personal life is quieter than his public persona, but it's full of interesting details that reveal a grounded, thoughtful, and passionate individual. Eric grew up in a close-knit community in Kent Village, and that sense of connection has remained important throughout his life. Despite fame and international recognition, he never lost sight of his roots. Family and community have always played a central role, and Eric often credits his upbringing for shaping his values, his work ethic, and his perspective on life. Music may have been his career, but relationships and loyalty were, and remain, at the core of who he is. Off-stage, Eric is known for his humility and approachability. He doesn't project the larger-than-life persona that some celebrities adopt. Instead, he prefers meaningful interactions with fans and fellow musicians. It's not uncommon for people who meet Eric to describe him as warm, personable, and genuinely interested in others. This demeanor has earned him a loyal following that extends beyond casual listeners. Fans feel a personal connection with him, not just admiration for his music. Eric's hobbies and interests outside music have also helped him stay grounded. While he's dedicated countless hours to songwriting and performing, he finds balance in simple pleasures, time spent with family, enjoying the outdoors, and staying connected to his community. These quieter moments reflect the same authenticity that runs through his music, a focus on life's meaningful, relatable experiences rather than chasing fame or material success. Like any artist, Eric has had his share of challenges and rumors. Over the years, speculation about his personal life and career choices occasionally surfaced, but Eric has maintained a level of discretion. He's never been one to court scandal or chase headlines, and this has allowed him to focus on what truly matters: his craft, his fans, and his personal growth. There are also lighter, humanizing stories from Eric's life that fans rarely hear. For instance, during early performances, it's said that Eric sometimes had to deal with mischievous crowds, unexpected technical glitches, or even a stubborn microphone that refused to cooperate. Instead of getting frustrated, he would laugh it off, improvise, and keep the show going. It's a testament to his resilience, humor, and professionalism, qualities that endear him to anyone who witnesses his performances. Even in his personal life, Eric's creativity finds outlets beyond music. Friends and family describe him as someone who enjoys storytelling, sharing anecdotes, and connecting with people in meaningful ways. Whether it's a joke, a song lyric, or a memory from his childhood, Eric has a knack for making ordinary moments feel special. That same skill translates directly to his songwriting, where the charm of simplicity often wins over complexity. Ultimately, Eric Donaldson's personal life reveals a man who is authentic, grounded, and deeply committed to both his craft and the people around him. Fame may have opened doors and given him a global audience, but it has never changed his core. He remains someone who values community, cherishes family, and finds joy in the everyday moments that life offers. For fans, this makes Eric not just a legendary musician, but also someone relatable, approachable, and genuinely inspiring. A reminder that behind the hits and accolades is a person with heart, humor, and an enduring connection to the world that shaped him. Challenges and setbacks. Even the most talented artists face obstacles, and Eric Donaldson was no exception. While many fans remember him for his hits and festival wins, the journey to lasting success was anything but smooth. His career is a story of resilience, persistence, and the ability to keep going when things didn't go according to plan. One of Eric's earliest challenges was simply breaking through in a crowded reggae scene. The 1960s and 1970s were booming with talented artists, and standing out required more than skill. It required timing, connections, and sometimes a bit of luck. Eric recorded early tracks with Studio One that never got released, a disappointment that could have discouraged any young musician. Yet he kept performing, forming vocal groups like the West Indians and later the Kilowatts. These early setbacks taught Eric patience and determination. Every failure was a lesson that would help him navigate the music industry more wisely. Competition within the Jamaican music scene also presented its own challenges. Reggae was evolving rapidly, and artists like Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff, and Toots Hibbert dominated attention. For Eric, this meant constantly pushing to create music that could resonate without feeling like an imitation. He needed to find his unique voice, which he did through songs like Cherry O Baby, and Land of My Birth. Even so, gaining international recognition was slower and more difficult than it was for some of his contemporaries. Success didn't happen overnight, and Eric had to weather periods where his music didn't get the attention it deserved. Health challenges occasionally affected Eric as well. Touring and performing are physically demanding, especially when traveling internationally. The rigors of stage performances, long journeys, and inconsistent schedules could be exhausting. While Eric never publicly dramatized these difficulties, maintaining stamina and focus over decades in the music industry required both physical and mental resilience. It's a side of his career that often goes unnoticed, but is critical to understanding the perseverance behind his longevity. Like any artist with a long career, Eric also faced moments when industry trends shifted. Reggae underwent significant transformations. With the rise of dancehall and other subgenres, artists had to adapt to remain relevant, and this presented creative challenges. Eric stayed true to his style, prioritizing authenticity over chasing fleeting trends. This choice may have slowed certain opportunities, but it ultimately preserved his musical integrity and earned him respect from fans and peers alike. Eric also had to manage the pressures of public expectation. Winning multiple Jamaica Festival song competitions brought prestige, but also increased scrutiny. Fans and critics alike had opinions about every new release, creating an ongoing challenge to meet expectations while staying true to his artistic vision. In interviews, Eric has reflected on the importance of focusing on the music itself rather than the noise around it. That mindset allowed him to navigate setbacks with grace. Despite these obstacles, Eric Donaldson never let setbacks define him. Each challenge, whether early career disappointments, stiff competition, health demands, or shifting musical trends, served as motivation to refine his craft. His resilience is evident in the consistency and longevity of his career. Eric's story shows that success in music isn't just about talent, it's about persistence, adaptability, and the ability to rise again after every obstacle. In the end, the challenges and setbacks Eric faced weren't roadblocks, they were stepping stones. They shaped him into a mature artist, capable of creating music that resonates decades after its release. They also highlight a key lesson for any aspiring musician or fan. Real success comes not from avoiding difficulties, but from facing them head-on with dedication, creativity, and a sense of humor along the way. Eric Donaldson's career is proof that even in the face of challenges, perseverance pays off, and the music you create can endure far beyond the obstacles you encounter. Later career and recent activities. As Eric Donaldson moved into the later stages of his career, he showed that true artistry isn't defined by age, but by consistency, creativity, and a willingness to keep performing. While some artists fade after their early hits, Eric continued to write, record, and perform, maintaining the same dedication that had carried him through decades of music. His later career demonstrates a mix of perseverance, evolution, and staying true to his roots. In the years following his major festival wins, Eric released several albums that expanded his repertoire beyond what made him famous. Tracks like Sweet Jamaica and Land of My Birth continued to resonate with audiences, both in Jamaica and internationally. While he may not have dominated international charts in the way some reggae icons did, his work remained highly respected. In many ways, Eric became the kind of artist whose consistency and authenticity spoke louder than fleeting fame. Fans who followed him over the years appreciated the reliability of his music and his commitment to quality. Eric also continued performing live, both at home and abroad. Festivals, cultural events, and smaller venues gave him the chance to connect with audiences who had grown up with his music, and new fans discovering it for the first time. One remarkable aspect of his later performances is the energy and engagement he brought to the stage, even decades into his career. Eric doesn't just sing songs, he tells stories, shares experiences, and makes every audience member feel included. This connection has been central to his enduring appeal. Collaborations remained a feature of his later career as well. Working with other artists and producers allowed Eric to explore fresh sounds while keeping the essence of his style intact. While he didn't chase trends for the sake of relevance, these collaborations added variety and depth to his music. Fans could hear elements of his classic style alongside contemporary influences, creating a bridge between generations of reggae listeners. In addition to music, Eric has maintained a presence in the reggae community through mentorship and cultural participation. Younger artists often look up to him not just for his hits, but for the longevity and professionalism of his career. He's a living example that dedication, discipline, and staying authentic can lead to a meaningful career that lasts decades. Eric's later years also reflect a balance between professional life and personal grounding. He continues to value family, community, and his roots in Kent Village. Even with international recognition, he has remained connected to the places and people that shaped him, a choice that has enriched both his personal life and his music. Interestingly, Eric's songs from this period often carry a reflective quality. Themes of nostalgia, pride in Jamaica, and appreciation for life's simple joys are common. They reveal an artist who has matured without losing his warmth or relatability. Whether performing a crowd-pleasing classic or introducing new material, Eric's music continues to resonate because it's honest, heartfelt, and crafted with skill. In recent years, his music has remained accessible, with many tracks available on streaming platforms, and his classic hits still played regularly. Cherry O Baby continues to be covered, sampled, and celebrated by reggae enthusiasts worldwide. This ongoing influence demonstrates that Eric Donaldson isn't just a figure of the past, he's a living part of reggae's continuing story. In short, Eric's later career is a testament to longevity, dedication, and adaptability. He has balanced maintaining his signature sound with evolving subtly over time, all while connecting with both longtime fans and new listeners. His story shows that a career built on authenticity and persistence can continue to flourish long after the initial burst of fame. For Eric Donaldson, later years have not been a decline. They've been a continuation of a legacy, proving that great music, like his, never truly fades. Legacy and influence. Eric Donaldson's influence on reggae music goes far beyond his hits or festival wins. His legacy is built on authenticity, consistency, and the ability to craft songs that resonate across generations. While many artists gain fame for a moment, Eric has maintained relevance for decades, leaving a lasting imprint on both fans and fellow musicians alike. One of the most obvious aspects of his legacy is the continued popularity of his songs. Cherry O Baby, for example, has been covered by artists like UB40, bringing Eric's work to audiences who may never have been familiar with the original. The song's catchy melody and relatable lyrics have made it a timeless classic, one that transcends both geography and age. It's the kind of track that reminds you of why reggae has such universal appeal: simple, heartfelt, and infectious. Beyond individual songs, Eric has influenced how artists approach songwriting in reggae. His music blends storytelling, emotion, and melody in a way that feels effortless but is actually the result of decades of experience. Newer artists often cite him as an example of someone who balances commercial success with artistic integrity. Eric's approach demonstrates that you don't need to compromise your style to reach audiences. Staying true to your voice can have a lasting impact. Eric's participation in the Jamaica Festival Song Competition also contributes to his enduring influence. Winning multiple times, he set a standard for other artists who saw that dedication, creativity, and consistency could yield recognition. The competition itself is a cornerstone of Jamaica's musical culture, and Eric's success helped elevate its prestige while inspiring younger musicians to pursue excellence in their craft. His festival victories remain a reference point for what a career in reggae can achieve when talent is paired with determination. Another element of Eric's legacy is his stage presence and approach to live performances. Those who have seen him perform describe an artist who engages audiences with warmth, charm, and authenticity. His shows aren't just concerts, they're shared experiences, where listeners feel a personal connection with the music and the performer. This ability to connect deeply with fans has been a hallmark of his career, and a key reason why his music continues to resonate decades after it was first recorded. Eric's influence extends to the broader cultural impact of reggae music. His songs often celebrate Jamaica's beauty, culture, and everyday life, contributing to the global appreciation of the island's heritage. By embedding pride and storytelling in his music, he's helped carry the essence of Jamaican culture to audiences worldwide, influencing not just musicians, but listeners who connect with the messages and rhythms of reggae. Mentorship and inspiration are also part of his legacy. Younger artists look up to Eric not just for his music, but for the professionalism and resilience he demonstrates. He shows that a meaningful, long-lasting career is possible when grounded in authenticity, hard work, and humility. Eric's example teaches emerging musicians that enduring influence comes from dedication, emotional honesty, and respect for the craft. In short, Eric Donaldson's legacy and influence are multi-layered. From his timeless hits and festival accolades to his impact on songwriting, live performance, and cultural pride, he has left a permanent mark on reggae music. His work continues to inspire new generations, proving that great music is timeless and authentic artistry can resonate across decades. Eric Donaldson is more than a reggae legend. He's a model of how talent, consistency, and heart can create a legacy that truly endures. Eric Donaldson's story shows that talent, persistence, and authenticity can create a lasting impact. From his early days in Kent Village to reggae legend status, his music continues to inspire fans around the world. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of music legends.